Rationalizing that sin of murder could get there, right? It's not hard to connect the dots.
This episode is brought to you by Baseco. Baseco Foundation and Concrete Solutions specialize in foundation repair, waterproofing, and concrete lifting. They have the ability to lift settled or sinking foundations, permanently waterproof homes and structures, underpin and support new foundations and structures, erect sizable block retaining walls, and lift settled concrete slabs, including sidewalks, driveways, patios, and garage floors.
Yeah, I know Rock personally, and he's a close friend, and I wouldn't trust anyone else as a real estate investor. The foundation's the most important piece, and it can make or break any deal, so we appreciate Baseco. This episode is brought to you by Big Storage Ventures. We are now inviting you to team up and partner alongside us. We bring our experience hunting storage deals and maximizing the self-storage asset to provide our partners with cash flow, tax benefits, and appreciation, all in one recession-resistant asset. Leverage our sister company, Big Ben's Moving Service, to fill your facility and give you an edge over the competition. Reach out to bigstorageventures@gmail.com or DM Big Storage Ventures on Instagram to team up.
What's up, Bigger Life Tribe? We are here, me and Micah today, and I owe you guys a life update. So today we talked a lot about the process of scaling a business, how my life has become really one-dimensional, more focused, and we're at kind of a choke point for our business. We also talk about the future of the podcast, some exciting things that we see coming down the pipe, and we're just grateful for everyone who's along for the ride. Hope you enjoyed today's show.
Sick.
It's been a while. We apologize. We've heard from you, our few faithful supporters, and we owe you a life update at the very least. So I got Micah in here. He's gonna help me, make sure I don't miss anything. But we got some big stuff. I think the last time we gave an update, we just were rebranding from the Beyond Net Worth podcast to the Bigger Life podcast, and I'm feeling really good about that brand alignment. So that's in place, and I think we're committed to it. One thing that, we don't want to be is, they say that the average podcast only lasts 5 or 6 episodes or something like that. So the podcast is not going anywhere, but we're in a season of life that is demanding, honestly. And so while we want to continue to network with amazing guests and provide value to our audience, there's a lot going on, and today I want to just fill everybody in on it. Callan and I, and our dedication to, for me, the moving company, but for both of us, the storage company, it's taking all of our time, and I feel good about it because we have our first allegiance to customers and partners. Our customers on the moving side and our team needs my attention, and then on the storage side, our partners and the promises we've made, that's really become a higher priority than us searching for the next impactful guest. So I think you'll see us get back to that. And Callan might not be participating as much, not because he doesn't want to be here or enjoy it, but just because he knows that keeping our promises is a little bit more important. So that's, the update. But we're investing in the podcast and the future of the podcast. We're building our new home. So we're going to be next month, we'll be in our new home. And the office is going to be a fully built out podcast studio. So we can host guests and, bring people into a really nice facility and produce some really good stories and education. And we know that, not only the podcast, but just content and building our community is going to continue to be more important. So I'm fired up about that. And you guys can follow me on Instagram for house updates. That's something that's taken up a lot of our time. You know, from a bird's eye view, I'm spending a lot of time restructuring the business, right? Like the business is growing to the point where we need all hands on deck just to make sure that everybody is efficient at a administrative, executive level. I think back on my journey, and we've drawn this out. We could go to the whiteboard if we need to, but if you can just picture like a graph, you get to these levels in business where you're profitable. Like I remember when I was first married, like the cash was coming in more than always a surplus, right? You know, always more cash than we needed for our needs, making lots of investments, everything like that. And then the investment turned to the team, right? Like we're investing in a very robust executive level group to take our business to the next level. So we're in that sacrifice stage, at least I'm in that sacrifice stage where I'm putting everything back into the business so that we can get to that next cycle. And I feel like it's just a different place to be. I feel like it's the right move. My learning is off the charts. Like we're learning lessons every day of how to manage this right. But it requires a lot of just time, money, attention, just locking in. A short example. So we have three businesses. The moving company is a service business that's been around the longest. That has the most robust, executive team. We have our systems down maybe the best. Big Storage Ventures is the business, the private equity business where we hunt the deals, we find them, but we split that up separately and we created a new company called Big Storage Holdings this last year. And the purpose is to have each company has separate goals. Because what we were finding was our team, they never knew if they should be working on the next deal and finding the next opportunity or keeping the promises that we'd made. And keeping the promises that we made is first and foremost. So we actually split up the teams. So now the people that are in Big Storage Holdings, they don't care about the next deal. All they care about is keeping the promises we've made and squeezing the profit to kind of maximize that experience. And then the Big Storage Ventures team, they're always looking for the next deal, negotiating, hunting, and we're seeing an insane amount of deals right now. But my story I want to tell first is just about Big Storage Holdings. We have three executive level players, Ez, Taylor, and Lala, who help us run that business. And this last week, we just realized like they're wearing the wrong hats. They're doing actually like the other person's strengths are more suited for what this person is doing. And when we hired them guessing what their strengths were, and now we're seeing it play out, and we're kind of doing a musical chairs. So like this afternoon, I'm going over there to kind of finalize some things, and it's something that's going to help our business go to the next level, but it's something that takes up a ton of attention. We also have on that business, we have our lease ups. Like we have a couple new construction projects where the heat is turned up. Like we have empty facilities, and until they get full, I can't justify thinking about anything else, honestly. And then on the Big Storage Ventures side, we have more opportunity than we've ever seen. The deals we're seeing are better than we've ever seen before, and we just can't afford to, like get caught not paying attention, because we'll look back and say, oh, we could have made like millions more if we would have bought in at that time later on. So, and then on the moving side, our overhead is growing, and so for us to continue to be profitable with the bigger overhead, we've got to produce. We've got to get more revenue. We've got to get more customers, and our experience is getting better and better because we have more and more training going into it, and so it's worth it. But my job is to make sure that everyone's efficient. I think one of the reasons why my personal bottom line has gone temporarily down before it's going to go back up is just in the company, everyone used to bill customers. So it used to be like, you don't get paid unless you're billing a customer, or you don't get paid unless you sell something. And now we're hiring executives that can potentially be more productive and manage entire teams of these people that bill customers, but they can also, if they're not managed or if they're not clear on what's expected, they can also be less productive and do things that don't help the bottom line. So my main goal in all three companies is like, hey guys, you guys want raises, you guys want to grow, you guys want a piece of the pie. We have to do activities that help the bottom line. So
I feel like
yeah,
the company is almost in this climbing phase, like you've seen the climbing documentaries probably, right? Like Free
Yeah.
Solo.
yeah,
Like I feel like we're in a phase where we've climbed really hard parts and we've gotten super high, right? But now there's that jump. Like you don't have a harness on, and that jump is taking months. And like you're still in it, not knowing where you're gonna grab, where it's gonna like hang on, and when you're gonna get to the top. But like the jump's worth it.
oh yeah,
Like we're just in this slow-mo movie scene of stress. Like even just leasing up like Cedar City West. Like I'm uninvolved in a way.
yeah,
I'm uninvolved. I'm involved and uninvolved in a way. And like I find myself thinking about it, like, oh, I wonder how it's doing. Like, oh man, are people renting it?
yeah,
Like it's a big deal. Like when you understand, like with Ben's course, which is
shameless plug.
is shameless plug. Yeah,
We have a storage investing.
we have a
course
storage
me and
investing
Mike
course.
have been working on.
I learned how important the lease up phase is a lot. Like that's do or die. It's do or die for that facility. Luckily, we have other safeguards and we'll make it work. Like Ben, and I don't know. It's a big deal. And like you said, we have all this other stuff going on. Like we're trying to be hands on with investments, right? Like even Littlefield, and we just finished closing on Payson, which is super exciting. So like there's a lot going on in every way, and like you said, the moving company is in a transition phase in a way, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Like it's in a weird phase, and so things on all sides are going up and looking awesome and
Yeah.
really stressful, right? So
Sure.
like
Well, and on these lease ups, right? Like, what our lesson we've learned, because these deals were like deal number 2 and 3, and so what we wanted was we wanted to give our partners like the maximum amount of equity we could, so we raised the least amount of money we could and still survive. And so that helped our partners in that way, but it puts the heat on me to lease the thing up. And so in every deal since then, we've raised a little bit extra. So technically, for your money, there's like a little less equity, but there's so much more. Like we haven't had any issues with deals since then. Like, it's all been smooth sailing. But pressure is good, and we will look back on this as the inflection point where it's like now it's like fight or flight, and we're choosing to fight, and it's really fun.
Yeah.
Because you can pause in the moment, in the chaos, in the fight, and you can pause it and just step back and say, you asked for this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you signed up for this. And I feel like it's a privilege. Like the pressure is a privilege, and we are ready to take on the fight. I'm so confident in our team and everyone that's a part of it that we're gonna push through. So it really is, like you said, it is like climbing that mountain is here, and we're gonna get to the top of this mountain, and then we're gonna climb to the next one. You know what I mean? It's not like I think we should get comfortable being in this position as a business. And if you're not comfortable being in this high pressure position, maybe it's not the business for you. Or maybe you don't want an executive level role where you're going to be getting nice benefits and earning a huge piece of the pie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's kind of the mindset that I have right now. And I think you brought up the moving company, and I think that's another example of this business is not for the faint of heart. There's been, a dozen people that have come and worked for me and then started their own moving company, which as time goes on, that gets easier and easier. But I saw one of the guys who used to work here that started his own company the other day, and I was just like, dude, good luck. Like, my attitude's gone from like, oh man, like, that hurts me so bad that you started a moving company to like, dude, have fun. You're gonna have to turn into a psychopath like me to stay in this.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I think a lot of people get to that level where they're self-employed, which is a level up, but then to get to that next level after that, which is what we're doing, is a huge sacrifice where you really have to give it your all to like get 100% compliant, get 100%, admin staff taking care of everything, maximizing the potential. That's a whole nother sacrifice. And I feel like when I see people start a moving company now, I just know the price that they're going to have to pay. And I have much less um, like hard feelings, and I have a lot more compassion and like, dude, if you can handle this, you deserve it, almost. And if not, then it's gonna work itself out.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah,
it's been a wild ride, honestly.
moving. I don't know how I'd. The tricky thing about moving is it seems really good, and it is. Like, there's great things about it, right? I mean, it's built your whole life. You can't complain necessarily about it.
Sure, yeah.
But at the same time, it gets. Well, I think there's a difference, right? Like, you start a moving company, especially in high school, with a trailer and a truck, and like that's not what we're talking about, right? Like, that's not where people are going to be in survival mode necessarily. I mean, that's cool. You can make some cash doing that. Like, I guess at what level, that's a good question for you. At what level, just moving, like separate from the storage, at what level was it like, this is a real business and this business is a battle? Like this is a battle. What point did it get there?
I would say it's never not a battle. I just say your battle gets more complex,
Hmm.
right? It's like in the beginning, right? Like those days, you're like you're pocketing cash, and you're just like, you have no crazy overhead. Like, you're just doing odd jobs. So your battle is like suffering through backbreaking work. Like, your battle is getting roped into something that's going to take you 14 hours, and you're so dead tired at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a physical battle. And then your battle is like, oh, well, I actually, like, if I'm going to keep doing this, I actually need to have like some sales and marketing, which a lot of people get stopped there. And a lot of it's because they don't do a good job. They can't get their business off the ground. But then it becomes like, do you have the soft skills, and do you have the care and attention to actually deliver on your promises, do a good job for people? Um, so it starts with like maybe a physical struggle, and then maybe like a keeping your promises struggle, and a marketing and sales struggle, right? But those struggles, like, you can get from level 0 to level 1, and I would say that a high percentage of, you know, ambitious people could probably get there. But then you realize, oh shoot, okay, I've been pocketing all these sweet cash deals, and now it's like I'm starting to build something big enough where I have to like pay taxes, and like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, should I pay taxes and like liability and like workers comp and like you just go through the list like, oh shoot, my margin just went from 50% to like 5%. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You're like, oh my gosh, like, is this even worth it at a 5% margin? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's not, and so you go through like,
I feel like that's a big, for just business in general, that's a big quitting point. Is when you go from like making a good margin
Yeah.
to becoming legit and taking the leap to fight for enough volume to make your legit business worth it. That is a scary leap.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. It sucks. It sucks that it has to be inefficient at times. It sucks that people can someone used this phrase this week to me, bend you over a barrel,
Yeah.
right? Like it's just like workers comp, new company, you don't have any options. You have to use us.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, I guess.
Mhm.
Payroll tax? What? Like I have to pay payroll tax on top of my tax?
Well, and that's why the things that Trump are doing are pro business.
Sure.
And I think that's, if we want to make more of your, that's why I love Trump, is because I believe this country is only business. Like
Yeah.
we would not be here without it being a commerce country, right? Like if our democracy wasn't based around capitalism, and Trump is a businessman. He's a capitalist.
Yeah.
And like him, like for a company like you, and for people starting out in industries to not have to pay, tax on tips, or what was the other one? Tax on overtime.
Right.
Like those are big dollars when you're starting a business, right? Like that's big money that you're gonna be saving. And if we continue to see things like that, it's just gonna help the country, and it's gonna help businesses grow, and it's gonna unfortunately help Ben's moving competitors grow a little bit better, a little bit, but
I mean, there's so many other.
there's so many
hurdles,
other
right?
things, yeah.
Like, um, there's the hurdle. We talked about getting set up with the DOT. Like getting all that legit. That's and then, like you said, then you have a new level of marketing. You have to buy more trucks.
Mm-hmm.
Trucks are expensive. $140,000 for a new truck, and if you get a used truck, guess what? It costs the same to insure a used truck, and then you have all the mechanic bills, and you have more high maintenance. Are you going to send that one on the road if it's used? And what goes through your head is like, am I going to pay to wrap that and make it look nice if it's just going to go out of service in 3 years because it's old? So there's so many like levels of this recommitment, and then we haven't even talked about the team. Getting a team that's reliable, trustworthy, can serve the customer well, and that you find that balance where they feel like satisfied with their pay. It's a hard thing to do just on the crew level to pay guys, and so we've always paid our guys higher than the market wage, but it doesn't matter. They're still not ever gonna feel like, like that's enough. They want to keep getting more and more if they're an ambitious person. So we have to keep giving more and more raises.
Yeah.
And rightfully so.
Yeah.
Right? Because that is the heart and soul of the business, is the crew.
Mm-hmm.
And then that doesn't even get into, I'm kind of on a rant now.
No, it's okay.
Doesn't even get into the administrative side, which is kind of where I landed. It's like once you have crew that you trust, and it's like you pay them fair, yeah, your margins will go down a little bit because you're paying them a high price, but you got to do that to ever get out of the field.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's where a lot of moving owners get stuck, is they aren't willing to pay someone enough to either do a good, so they either like remove themselves and someone goes and does a bad job, or they have to stay in the business.
Yeah, because they don't want to pay all that money to their employees. Yeah.
Yeah. And they get stuck at that level.
I want to go back to the truck thing, because
Yeah, go ahead.
I've been on my own insurance journey, and do you know like the deny, defend, depose story and what that's about?
Fill me in. I mean, I know he assassinated the CEO.
Yeah, so I don't remember all the details. I barely know much about it, but yeah, like there's insurance company, they denied for their users, right? For the people that were on their insurance, they denied like, I think this could be wrong, over 60-70% of the claims, of the health insurance claims. And so yeah, the CO gets assassinated, and the bullets that were used to assassinate him had the words denied, defend, depose like carved into the bullets.
Yeah.
And what those words were are the words that they use to deny claims.
Yeah.
Like you've been denied, or like you have to defend yourself, depose, whatever. And so essentially it's saying like those words killed him,
Yeah.
right? So it's about insurance companies being scams.
Yeah.
And insurance in general. So are you, maybe explain your truck insurance situation, because it's bonkers to me. It's crazy to me. And are you, where do you stand on the or deny, defend, depose thing? Like after, just with insurance in general, not health or truck or whatever.
Yes. Well, first of all, I'll say I don't think I would ever kill someone, right?
Like it's not justified. Murder's not
No,
justified
murder's
ever.
not justified ever, right? I don't know. Do we know? Did he have like a relative that died or something, or like he couldn't get insurance help or something? Like you could see how you would be tempted to get violent if you had like a relative that died from it. You know, like they had something that was curable, and the insurance company wouldn't help them survive, and you know what I mean. But that's beside the point. It's never okay to murder someone, you know what I mean? Especially when he's just part of a system. And yeah, he's at the top, but he's just part of a system that's broken. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like he's not the sole guy that deserved to die, right?
No.
Like it would have been much better to, obviously fix the system, but I think that's why that desperate action had to be taken, because the system is pretty broken, and it's really unfortunate that happened.
So this is crazy. So
Yeah.
apparently, and his name's Luigi Mangione or whatever.
Yeah.
He he didn't take it out on United Healthcare because of a personal grudge. His claim is he did it because of the moral that UHC was complicit in 16 million deaths due to denied insurance claims.
Yeah.
So it wasn't even a personal thing.
So he just had like this moral calling to go do it.
Yeah. And yeah, he said like, and the thing is he didn't do it because the CO was the problem. Like he knew it was bigger than that, but he did it to get eyes on it and to get people on his side, I think, which it worked. Like I'm shocked at, I personally, and like you said, I don't think murder's justified no matter what, but there's some people in my life that I know really well that it shocks me that they support all of it. That they're like, I'm glad he did that completely.
Yeah.
And I don't agree, but
Well,
anyways, continue your thoughts.
I mean, you won't sway me on this. It was wrong to shoot that man.
Yeah.
That man had a family. Like, it was effective, but it was never worth, that man's life was not worth the cost. No matter how big of a scumbag he was, he had a family. You know what I mean?
Why do you think so many people are willing to support Luigi?
It's really easy to get there morally, because it's like the principle is like, we have a scripture. It's better for one man to perish than an entire nation dwindle in unbelief, right? Like if that's true, there was 16 million deaths that this company was complicit to.
Mm-hmm.
You could see how that rationalizing that sin of murder could get there, right? It's not hard to connect the dots, especially when you like dig into and read more and like learn more. And like you said, it was effective because here's what happened. Friday, everyone had a board meeting and they said, how can we get more profits? How can we go make more money? Which is what they're supposed to do. The murder happened. Monday, they have a board meeting saying, whoa, what can we do to like freaking defend ourselves? Because people see how Luigi's being treated. They like that idea. They start to get a mob mentality. All of a sudden, every insurance executive has to hire like security detail. You know what I mean? So they got their attention, and now they're like, okay, how can we make sure that we end up on the right side of this?
Yeah.
Insurance is largely a scam. Some insurance companies are better than others. We just got some insurance that we feel like is way better than the old insurance we used to have. So we know that there's levels to insurance, but yeah, we're currently in a lawsuit, so I won't be able to it's an open lawsuit. But yeah, we had what happened was an incident, a claim, and the insurance company, we're fully insured, paid a big bill, a 6-figure bill to the insurance company. No, seriously, just for insuring the trucks.
For all the trucks, yeah.
Between $100,000 and $200,000 for the year. It's crazy. That's like give you an example of the overhead that we carry, and pay it, and then they deny our claim. So, I mean, obviously, I am not going to do anything violent.
Yeah.
But you could see how, if I wasn't we're so blessed that we can stay in business, even though the insurance claim got denied. But this is a damage that, think of, if say you used to say every moving truck could make you $1,000 a day. Say this was my only truck, right? I go bankrupt because I lose that truck. I don't have the money for a new truck, and I lose that revenue.
And you lost them. You're not going to make back well, for one truck, I mean, it would still be, a 5-figure payout, right? For insurance.
Yeah.
For the year.
Payout.
For one truck.
Oh.
If you had one truck,
yes.
right? At the beginning of the year, if you pay the year off, you're paying a 5-figure insurance pay, and probably, I mean, we're not talking probably not $10,000. We're still probably talking $25,000, $30,000. This is me guessing.
Exactly. No, that's accurate. Yeah.
And so, anyways, so your truck breaks, they deny a claim, you just forked out $25,000, $30,000 of your own money for nothing, and you just lost $30,000, and you lost
the replacement value,
and you lost your income.
Oh yeah.
So it's not only do you lose the ability to work and make income, but you just lost $30,000. That $30,000 could have saved your business in that situation, but instead it just puts you in a deeper hole. Yeah. So it baffles me that it works like that.
Yeah. And so that's why you grow skeptical. We pay for it because we want to serve customers.
Yeah.
But, this isn't every industry. But getting back to kind of the topic, I think that's a really fun thought-provoking conversation about Luigi. Even though, it kind of disgusts me that he did that, but it disgusts me as well that he had to do that.
Yeah.
And I'm a capitalist. I want insurance companies to make money. I don't want that to not work, but at the expense of actually being honest, no. That's where I draw the line.
Yeah.
I want there to be billionaires and trillionaires and people with ungodly amounts of money, but not at the expense of people dying or not getting their claims paid when it's pretty crystal clear. I think on some claims there's way more gray area, right? There's people that do insurance fraud. They'll stage a car crash to get a new car and get chiropractic bills or whatever.
Which if you're broke, it's the best way to get a new car.
Yes.
You just go drive it off a cliff and say something happened.
Yeah.
Just don't do that, guys.
Don't do it.
That's
but-
illegal, but
that's on the other side of the coin.
yeah.
And you see how this dishonesty could go both ways. Like,
But shouldn't there, with how big the industry is and how important it is in the country, shouldn't it be more streamlined? I mean, it's even like what Elon's doing with the country, where it's ridiculous how much insurance isn't digitalized and automized. And if we could automize insurance in my head, why could we not have a way to prove claims better? Why could we not have a way to get it processed faster and more sure to protect the insurance company and to protect you, right? So that insurance fraud goes away more. And I know it has quite a bit, like with health insurance, like there's portals and there's this and there's that. But even on Medicaid, I just got on Medicaid, luckily. So I've been dealing with this health insurance thing for like 2 months, and it's been super stressful because if the viewers want to know,
I didn't know Micah is like a walking
yeah, Frankenstein.
show a scar.
Yeah, I'll show you guys. Here's the scars. I broke both my arms 6 weeks ago. Wow, this is not focusing. Hello. There you go. So here's the scars. And I got one on the backside too. But anyways, so I've personally been dealing with insurance a lot because I didn't have insurance when I broke my arms. But do you know how outdated the website is to try to like get into Medicaid? It's so ridiculous. And the forms, I still had to print and scan every single form that they wanted me to fill out. Like, my personal business form for my income and expenses. Like, and same thing with taxes. Like, why? I get there's security with digital stuff, but why can we not hire someone to update the website, to protect it, and to make it more streamlined?
Yeah.
Even for claims, like, it just blows my mind that there hasn't been progress there much.
So you can hear in Micah's voice the frustration that this is just you're dealing with overhead in your personal life, right? Like your personal medical insurance, your personal car insurance, your personal taxes you gotta pay.
Yeah.
With a business, all that overhead just gets amplified. It's just stupid stuff. It's stupid at every level, but I think just kind of coming back to the topic is we're in that phase where at this point now we have delegated out every executive role, and now we have these salaries that are out, and we have to produce as a team, not only for the company to be profitable, but for the executives to make it to their next level, because we're going to do this whole process again. Company's going to become profitable at a high level again, and then we're going to say, okay, let's make the next sacrifice that's needed to get to the next level.
Yeah.
We have big goals. We want to become, in the next 10 years, doing $40 million a year on the moving company, managing $300 million of storage. You know what I mean? So we have these ambitions. I'm reflecting, and I hope it doesn't come off as complaining, because I love the journey, but it's just explaining, these businesses and my role helping the company and making sure that everything stays not only afloat but thriving and profitable. That's why we've had a little hiatus. Of course, our storage course took a couple months, and now our storage course is live, and we're really excited to sell that at a pretty big discount, just getting it off the ground. But I think as we move into the new house or the new studio setup and some of these issues get taken care of, I think we're going to have a lot of awesome podcast value. And with the new brand and with it being me solo and one-on-one, I'm sure that it'll be a different podcast experience, but I'm really excited for the opportunity to keep going. And, I don't see us ever having to stop the podcast. I just see it evolving into something, even more special.
Yeah.
So it's going to be fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
we missed any fun updates?
I don't think so. I think that's it. And like, just as my point of view on this whole conversation, Ben accepts it all, and and the team is accepting it all and hitting it head on. And I was the one complaining today in the podcast. So, but Ben is it's impressive, and that's something to learn from him. And you just gotta keep going and keep your commitments and put your head down. So
I mean, it's simple. Put your head down and keep your commitments, but it's harder to do, and a lot of it's taking punches. We had some, just to be vulnerable, we had some tension in our business this week, and I participated in a meeting where all I did was listen and say, you have the floor, and I just kind of took some berating and some insults and just had to bite my tongue and just listen and let people feel heard so the company could keep going. And sometimes as the business owner, you get frustrated and you just want to flip a table and fire everybody, and just like, you can get a lot of those, it could be emotional if you don't have a good stress tolerance. And I think a lot of my executives have to learn that. Like, they come in and just get so frustrated, and it's like, everyone has to feel that. But when you take the emotion out of it and realize we have a long-term vision, I have to take some punches today and just take them and get back up.
yeah,
Because the most important thing is not necessarily being the smartest guy or being the one that has all the answers or the most money. It's just the guy who's going to keep going, like you said, and not quit. And so resilience might be the number one thing that I think is going to attribute to our future success.
yeah, that's it.
Thanks,
Well, I'm excited. I guess we'll update it in a few weeks.
It was fun to update, and look forward to more guests. I think this podcast is going to drop before our March Madness contest.
Finishes, yeah.
So we're, fill out your bracket, follow Big Ben's Moving and Storage on Instagram, and you can win $500, a free move, or a free year of storage. That'll be our little ad for this podcast. But I think there's like 7 people in, so you have like 1 in 8 chance of winning $500 if you want to get in on that action. And we love you guys. If you're listening to this, I know there's probably less than 100 people who listen to this religiously, but thanks for being along for the ride. We'll talk to you guys soon.
This episode is brought to you by Baseco. Baseco Foundation and Concrete Solutions specialize in foundation repair, waterproofing, and concrete lifting. They have the ability to lift settled or sinking foundations, permanently waterproof homes and structures, underpin and support new foundations and structures, erect sizable block retaining walls, and lift settled concrete slabs, including sidewalks, driveways, patios, and garage floors.
Yeah, I know Rock personally, and he's a close friend, and I wouldn't trust anyone else as a real estate investor. The foundation's the most important piece, and it can make or break any deal. So we appreciate Baseco.